My name is Sophie. I am 25 years old. I live in a small city. My life was simple before. I studied, I worked, and I spent time with my family. But then something new took over my life. It was not a person. It was not a place. It was my phone. My phone became my world, and slowly I lost myself inside it. At first, I only used my phone a little. I looked at pictures of my friends. I watched short videos. I liked posts. I thought it was fun. Everyone used social media, so I thought it was normal. I did not see a problem. I told myself it was just for a few minutes. I told myself it was only for fun. Before I tell you more, I want to ask you something. Please support me and this channel. Subscribe now, share this story with your friends, and write a comment with your country. I will be very happy to know where you are listening from. Your support helps me continue and tell more stories for you. Soon my minutes became hours. I used my phone in the morning. I used it before I slept. I used it while eating food. I even used it when someone was speaking to me. I was always on the screen. I thought it was nothing. But it was not nothing. It was the start of a problem. One Sunday, my family sat together in the living room. My mother spoke to me. I did not hear her. My father said my name 2 times. Still, I did not look up. My brother said, "She only looks at her phone now." They laughed, but I did not laugh. I kept scrolling. I felt more safe with my phone than with people. I started to feel far from my own family. I told myself that social media gave me friends. I saw pictures of smiling people. I saw parties and holidays. I saw travel and money. I thought they were happy. Then I looked at my own life. I did not travel. I did not have new clothes. I did not go to parties. My life looked boring to me. I felt small. I felt less. I started to compare myself with every picture. I forgot that those pictures were not real life. They only showed the best parts. But my brain did not see that. My brain believed what I saw. Day by day, I used more time on my phone. I woke up and touched my phone before brushing my teeth. I looked at the screen until late at night. My eyes hurt. My head felt heavy. Still, I could not stop. I told myself, just 5 more minutes. But 5 minutes became 1 hour. 1 hour became 3. I lost my time. I lost my focus. I wanted to study one evening. I opened a book. After 5 minutes, I picked up my phone again. I could not stay with the book. I could not stay with one thing. I moved always to my phone. My mind was not calm. My body was not calm. I felt anxious without the phone. I even took it with me to the bathroom. I did not want to be without it for one moment. My work also started to suffer. I came late to meetings. I did not finish my tasks on time. My boss asked me what happened. I said I was tired. I said I did not sleep, but the truth was different. I wasted hours with my phone. I wasted hours when I should have worked. I wasted hours when I should have rested. I lied to myself and to others. My health became weak. I sat too long in one place. I did not move much. My back hurt. My eyes burned. My skin looked pale. My face looked sad. I wanted to stop, but I could not. My hands always reached for my phone. I could not control it. My mind wanted the next like, the next picture, the next video. At night, I did not sleep well. I kept my phone near my pillow. I woke up many times. I looked at the screen again and again. Sometimes I used my phone until morning. Then I felt tired the whole day. I had no energy. My body was slow. My thoughts were slow. My life was not moving forward. It was only stuck inside the small screen. My friends also saw the change in me. One day, my best friend invited me to her birthday party. I said yes, but on the day of the party, I stayed home. I told her I was sick. The truth was, I stayed in bed with my phone. I scrolled for hours instead of seeing her. Later, she sent me pictures. They all looked happy. I felt guilty. I felt sad. I wanted to be there. But I was trapped. I was alone with my phone. I became more lonely. I did not talk much to my family. I did not meet my friends. I only looked at my phone. But the phone did not care for me. The phone did not love me. It only gave me more reasons to feel weak and sad. I started to believe that my life was not good. I started to believe that I was not enough. I asked myself, can I stop for 1 hour? Can I put my phone down? I tried. I turned it off. After 10 minutes, I picked it up again. I could not wait. My heart was not calm. My mind was not calm. I felt afraid without it. I knew this was not normal. I knew I was addicted, but I did not know how to stop. One day, my father told me, "Sophie, you are not the same. You do not smile like before. You do not sit with us. You do not speak with us." His words hurt me. I wanted to answer him. I wanted to say he was wrong, but he was right. I was not the same. I was not the girl I was before. That night, I thought about my life. I thought about my lost hours. I thought about the time I gave away. I thought about the dreams I forgot. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to travel. But I lost those dreams. I gave my time to my phone, and my phone gave me nothing back. I felt broken. I felt weak. But I also felt something else. I felt a question in my mind. Do I want to live this way forever? Do I want to lose more time? Or do I want to take my life back? I did not have the answer yet, but I knew I had to find it. I had to decide. My future was in my hands, not in my phone. That was the moment my story turned. I did not fix everything that day, but I knew the truth now. I was addicted. I was lost. And if I wanted to change, I had to fight for myself. I had to fight for my real life. After that night, I started to see more problems. I was not only wasting time, I was losing my life. My phone was the first thing I touched in the morning. It was the last thing I touched at night. My whole day moved around it. I did not control it. It controlled me. My mother asked me to help with cooking. I said I was busy. But I was not busy. I was only scrolling. My father asked me to walk with him. I said no. I wanted to stay in bed with my phone. My brother wanted to play a game with me, I said later, but later never came. I chose my phone over them. They were near me, but I lived far away inside the screen. I started to miss important things. I forgot my friend's exam. I forgot my cousin's wedding. I forgot family meals. I was always late. I was always distracted. People stopped calling me. They stopped inviting me. They said, "She never comes." And they were right. I was not present for them. I was not even present for myself. My body also showed the pain. I gained weight. I ate snacks while using my phone. I did not walk much. I sat in one place for hours. My back hurt. My eyes burned. I had headaches often. At night, I did not sleep well. I stayed up until 2 or 3 in the morning. I woke up late and felt tired all day. I was 25, but I felt like I was 50. I looked in the mirror one day. I saw dark circles under my eyes. My face looked pale. My hair looked weak. I touched my face and thought, "Who is this?" I did not see the same girl. I saw a stranger. I felt sad, but then I picked up my phone again. I wanted to escape. I wanted to forget my feelings. But each time I escaped, I fell deeper. One morning, I went to work very late. My boss called me into her office. She looked serious. She said, "Sophie, this is not good. You are not the same. You are late. You are not focused. You do not finish your work." I tried to smile. I said I was sick, but she knew. She said, "If this continues, you may lose this job." Her words stayed in my head. Lose my job? I could not believe it. I wanted to cry. But when I left her office, I checked my phone again. Even with fear, I could not stop. My studies also suffered. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to grow. But when I opened my books, I lost focus. I read one page. Then I picked up my phone. I told myself I would return to the book soon. But hours passed. I never went back. My books stayed closed. My dreams stayed closed with them. My heart also felt pain. I saw pictures online of people together. They smiled. They laughed. They looked happy. I thought, why not me? I wanted friends. I wanted love. But I was not with people. I was only with my phone. I pushed real people away. Then I felt lonely. My phone gave me no real love. It only gave me fake love. And that fake love made me more lonely. I also started to feel anxious. When I was not near my phone, I felt nervous. I thought I missed something. I thought people were talking about me. I thought I lost a like or a comment. I felt a hole inside me. I touched my phone to fill it. But the hole only grew bigger. I wanted more likes, more views, more videos. But none of it made me happy. One day, my phone battery died. I had no charger with me. My hands shook. My mind raced. I felt like I lost air. I looked around. I did not know what to do. I sat in silence for 10 minutes. They felt like 10 hours. I realized how bad it was. I could not live without my phone even for a short time. That was not normal. That was addiction. Later that week, I sat in the park. Children played. Parents talked. Friends laughed. I looked at them. I thought, when was the last time I felt this? I did not remember. I was always on my phone. I forgot the real world. I forgot how to live. Tears came to my eyes. I felt like I lost years of my life. I gave my time to a screen. The screen gave me nothing back. That night I could not sleep. I turned and turned in my bed. I thought about my life. I thought about my family. I thought about my future. I felt heavy inside. I asked myself, do I want to live like this for 5 more years? 10 more years? The answer was no. I did not want this life. I wanted to change, but change was not easy. The next morning, I tried something new. I turned off my phone for 1 hour. I told myself, I can do this. At first, I felt nervous. I looked at the clock many times. I wanted to pick up my phone. My hands moved toward it, but I stopped. I walked in my room. I looked outside the window. I saw the sun. I saw people walking. I felt strange, but also free. 1 hour passed. It was hard, but I did it. I told myself, maybe I can do 2 hours next time. It was a small step, but it was something. I also decided to move my phone away from my bed at night. I put it in another room. The first night was hard. I wanted to run and get it. But I stayed in bed. I looked at the ceiling. I closed my eyes. After some time, I slept. In the morning, I felt more fresh than before. I also tried to spend more time with my family. My mother cooked dinner. I put my phone away. I looked at her. I listened to her. She smiled at me. It felt warm. My father asked me to walk. This time, I said yes. We walked slowly. We talked about simple things. He told me he was happy to walk with me again. My brother asked me to play. I said yes. Laughed. For the first time in a long time, I felt real. I felt alive. But it was not easy every day. Some days I failed. Some days I scrolled for hours again. I felt weak. I felt angry at myself. But then I tried again. I told myself, step by step. I wanted to change. I wanted my life back. I wanted my dreams back. I knew it would take time. I knew it would take strength. But I also knew one thing. I could not continue like before. My future was waiting. My family was waiting. My life was waiting. I had to keep trying. I had to keep fighting. I had to choose real life over fake life. And deep inside, I started to feel hope. Hope that I could change. Hope that I could be myself again. Hope that my story was not over yet. My fight was hard, but it was not finished. It was only the beginning. The days after my first steps were not simple. Some mornings I woke up and felt strong. I put my phone away and made tea. I sat with my family. I talked with them. I felt light. But other mornings I failed. I reached for my phone before I even opened my eyes. I scrolled for hours and forgot the day. It was a fight inside me every single day. I learned that change is not fast. Change is slow. It is step by step. One small win each day. I told myself this again and again. even when I failed, I stood up again. I did not give up. I wanted my life back, and I had to keep fighting for it. I made one more rule for myself. I decided to turn off all notifications. No sound, no light, no pop-up. At first, it felt strange. I thought I would miss something important. But then I saw the truth. Nothing important happened. My life did not fall apart. Instead, I had more peace. I could focus. I could think without the small beeps. I started to breathe easier. I also gave myself a time limit. I said, only 30 minutes a day. I set a timer. When the timer ended, I closed the app. Sometimes I wanted to open it again. My hands wanted it. But I told myself no. I told myself, you promised. Little by little, I started to control my phone. My phone did not control me. I looked for real life again. I went outside more. I walked in the park. I watched the sky. I saw trees move in the wind. I saw children play. I heard birds sing. These sounds felt new, but they were not new. I just forgot them. My phone had hidden them from me. Now I was learning to see again. I also tried to read again. At first, I read only for 10 minutes. Then 15. Then 30. My mind was slow, but then it became stronger. I could focus more. I started to enjoy learning again. I remembered my old dream. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to help people. I felt hope. I felt that my dream could live again. My family also noticed the change. My mother said, "You smile more now." My father said, "You walk with me again." My brother said, "You play with me again." Their words made me happy. I realized I had almost lost them, but now I was close again. I was not perfect, but I was trying, and they could see it. One evening, I met my friend after a long time. She looked at me and said, "Sophie, you look different." I asked her, "Different how?" She smiled and said, "You look alive again." My eyes filled with tears. I hugged her. I thought she would not forgive me. I thought she would not want me anymore. But she did. Real friends wait. Real friends forgive. I promised myself I would never lose her again because of my phone. Of course, social media still tried to pull me back. When I opened it, I still saw the pictures. I still saw the happy faces, the travel, the cars, the big houses. But now I remembered the truth. Those pictures were not real life. They were only a show. I told myself, do not compare. Do not believe all of it. And slowly, the pain was less. Slowly, I started to feel stronger than before. I also learned new things to replace social media. I started cooking with my mother. I started walking with my father. I started learning new skills online, but not in social media apps. I watched classes. I listened to English stories. I spent time with real people. My days became more full. My nights became more calm. I felt less empty. I felt more human again. One week, I decided to do something big. I deleted all social media apps for 7 days. At first, it was very hard. I felt lost. I felt nervous, but after 2 days, I started to feel light. I slept better, I ate better, I worked better, my mind was more calm, my heart was more calm, I saw the world again, I saw myself again. When the 7 days ended, I asked myself, do I need these apps again? The answer was no, I did not need them. I needed my real life more, I will not lie. Even now, sometimes I want to scroll again for hours. Even now, I feel the pull. But now, I know how to fight it. I know how to turn off my phone. I know how to walk outside. I know how to talk to my family. I know how to choose real life. And each day I do it, I feel proud of myself. Looking back, I feel shocked at how much time I lost. I lost days. I lost weeks. I lost years. I lost dreams. But I also learned something important. I learned that time is life. If we waste time, we waste life. If we save time, we save life. My phone almost stole my life, but I chose to take it back. Now, I am 25, but I feel young again. I feel new. I have more energy. I have more hope. I have more love for people around me. I do not want to waste my life again. I want to build it. I want to live it. I want to give my time to things that matter. This is my story. It is not only about social media. It is about life. It is about how easy it is to lose time. It is about how hard, but also how possible it is to take time back. I hope my story helps you too. I hope you ask yourself, do I use my phone, or does my phone use me? And I hope you choose the right answer. Because in the end, the truth is simple. Social media is not love. Social media is not family. Social media is not your future. Social media is only an app. But your life is real. Your family is real. Your dreams are real. And they all wait for you. Do not give them away to a small screen. My name is Adriana. I still remember the first day I met Mateo. I was 7 years old, sitting on the old steps outside my house. The sun was hot, and the smell of fish came from the market down the road. A boy with messy hair walked by, carrying a basket of flowers. His clothes were old, but his eyes were bright. He smiled at me as if we had always known each other. From that day, we became friends. We lived in the same fishing town. The sea was our playground, but life was hard. Most families here worked long hours and earned little money. My mother sold fried snacks at the bus stop. Mateo's mother cleaned fish at the market. She always came home late, her hands red from the cold water. Mateo had a younger sister named Camila. She liked to draw pictures in the sand with a stick. The three of us often played together until the sky turned dark. Mateo was not like the other boys. Even when he was small, he worked. He helped fishermen pull in nets, carried water, and sold flowers to travelers. Sometimes I stood near him when I sold food with my mother. People walked past quickly. Some bought our food or flowers, but many did not look at us at all. Mateo never complained. He said he wanted a better life, not just for him, but for his mother and Camila too. At night, we sat on the rocks near the port. We watched the boats leave for the big city far away. I dreamed of becoming a teacher. Mateo did not know his dream yet. He only said he wanted to see more than our little town. I did not know then how far he would go. One afternoon, when we were about 12, I found Mateo standing in front of the small cinema. A big movie poster hung outside. It showed a man in a shiny suit, smiling under bright lights. Mateo was staring at it. I laughed and asked what he was looking at. He said the man looked like he belonged in another world. I told him it was just a picture. But I saw the way he stood, as if something inside him had changed. The years passed and we grew older. I stayed in school part-time and helped my mother after classes. Mateo worked all day. He carried heavy boxes at the market, cleaned fishing boats, and sometimes ran errands for shopkeepers. His hands were rough, and his clothes were worn, but he was strong. People in town knew him as a polite boy who always helped others. One very hot day, I was selling snacks at the bus stop. Across the street, I saw an old woman trying to carry 2 heavy baskets. Mateo ran to her side and lifted them easily. Standing next to the woman was another lady. She wore a wide hat and had a big camera around her neck. She watched Mateo closely, then took a picture. I thought it was strange, but I did not ask about it. Later that week, Mateo came to my house with a small card in his hand. He told me the woman's name was Sophia. She was a photographer from the city. She said he had something special and asked if he wanted to take more photos. At first he laughed and said no, but then he told me he kept thinking about it. He was afraid it was a trick. I said maybe it was a chance. The next week, Mateo decided to call her. Sophia invited him to her studio in the city for a test shoot. He asked me to come with him. I had never been to the city before, and neither had he. We took the early bus, and I watched his face as we passed tall buildings and busy streets. He looked nervous but excited. The studio was bright and full of things I did not understand. There were big white walls, shiny lights, and people moving quickly. Sophia smiled at us and told Mateo to stand in front of the camera. At first, he looked stiff and unsure. He kept his eyes down and his hands by his sides. Sophia spoke to him in a soft voice and told him to think about something that made him happy. Slowly, his shoulders relaxed. He smiled a little. His eyes lit up the way I remembered from our childhood. When the session ended, Sophia showed us the photos. I could not believe what I saw. Mateo looked strong and calm. He did not look like the boy from the fishing port. He looked like someone from the posters in the cinema. Sophia said she would send the photos to some clothing brands. She told Mateo not to expect quick answers, but she thought someone might be interested. For a few weeks, nothing happened. Mateo went back to the market. I saw him carrying heavy boxes again. I wondered if he had forgotten about the photos. Then one afternoon, he came running to my house. His face was bright, and he could hardly speak from excitement. Sophia had called. A small local clothing shop wanted him for their new advertisement. It was not a big job, but it was a start. The photo shoot took place in the streets of the city. Mateo wore jackets from the shop, and posed near old walls and colorful doors. I watched from the side, holding my bag of snacks. I felt proud of him, but also a little afraid. If this worked for him, would he leave the town? Would we still be friends? I pushed the thought away and clapped for him when the photographer smiled. That night, we walked home along the quiet road. The sea was dark and the stars were bright above us. Mateo asked if I thought he could really do this work. I told him I believed he could do more than this, but he should never forget where he came from. He promised he would not. From that day, something changed between us. I saw him not just as the boy who sold flowers at the bus stop, but as someone who could step into a bigger world. I did not know what would happen next, but I felt that both our lives were about to change. Before I share the rest of my story, I need to know, where are you listening from? Knowing someone hears me, understands me, gives me strength. After the first photo shoot, Mateo still worked at the market. He said the shop gave him some money and a free jacket. I saw him wear it to the port one evening. It was simple, but it made him look different. People in town noticed. Some asked him where he got it. He only smiled and said it was from work. Sophia called again after 2 weeks. This time, she wanted him to come for a casting in the city. A brand was looking for new faces for their online store. Mateo asked me to go with him again. I agreed, though I had to leave my mother to work alone for the day. She did not complain. She said it was good for me to see the world outside our town. The casting was in a big building with glass walls. Many young men were waiting in line. They wore clean clothes and had shiny shoes. Mateo stood among them in his best shirt, which was still old and faded. I felt nervous for him. But when it was his turn, he walked in calmly. Later, he told me they took a few photos and asked him to walk across the room. They said they would call. A week later, they did call. Mateo got the job. It was for a small online ad, but it paid more than a month's work at the market. I could see his excitement, but he stayed quiet. He did not want to make big plans too soon. As he did more jobs, Mateo started spending more time in the city. Sometimes he stayed there for 2 or 3 days. He told me about the places he saw. He described the tall buildings, the music in the cafes, the bright lights at night. I listened, but a part of me felt heavy. Our walks by the port became less frequent. I missed them. One day when he returned from the city, he came to see me. He brought a small paper bag. Inside was a hair clip with tiny blue stones. "For you," he said. I saw it and thought of the sea. I held it in my hand and smiled, but my eyes burned. I realized I was afraid. Afraid he was walking into a new world where I did not belong. Sophia told him he should learn more about the fashion industry. She gave him books and showed him videos of models on the runway. He practiced his walk on the narrow street between our houses. Sometimes I watched from my window and laughed. He laughed too, but he took it seriously. He said he wanted to be ready if a bigger chance came. that bigger chance came faster than we expected. A well-known designer in the city was planning a charity fashion show. They wanted to include people with different backgrounds. Sophia sent Mateo's photos. The designer chose him for 2 outfits. Mateo told me the show would be in a large hall with many guests. His voice shook when he said it. On the day of the show, I traveled to the city to see him. I stood in the crowd, holding my bag of snacks as I always did. The lights were bright and the music was loud. Then I saw him. He walked out in a long, dark coat, his face calm, his step steady. The crowd clapped. I felt my heart swell. That was my friend, the boy who once sold flowers beside me. After the show, people came to speak to him. They asked about his life. Some took photos with him. I stood at the side watching. He looked happy, but also tired. When we finally spoke, he hugged me and thanked me for coming. I told him I was proud. In the weeks that followed, his face began to appear on posters in the city. Small brands wanted him for their ads. He started earning enough to help his mother fix the roof of their house. Camilla was able to get new clothes for school. I was happy for them, but sometimes I felt a small ache in my chest. I was still selling snacks at the bus stop while he traveled to places I had never seen. One evening, he came to my house and sat quietly at the table. I asked if something was wrong. He said he had been invited to work in another country for a few months. It was for a bigger brand, and Sophia thought he should go. I smiled and told him he must take the chance. Inside, I felt like something was breaking. If he left, the port would feel empty without him. Before he went, he came to the bus stop to find me. He gave me a small notebook. "Write in it," he said. "Write about the days here. When I am far away, I will read it." I promised I would. The day he left, the town felt quiet. I walked by the port alone that night. The sea was dark, the wind cold. I thought about our childhood, the long days of work, the dreams we spoke of. I realized his dream was starting, and mine had not yet begun. A month later, I received a letter. Inside was a photo of Mateo on a street I did not know, wearing a bright scarf. On the back he wrote, "It is cold here, but I am warm. I remember the sea." I kept that photo by my bed. Sometimes people in town asked me about him. They said I must be proud. I said yes, but I missed him. The truth was, I missed the old days when we sat on the rocks and talked about the future. Still, I wanted him to keep going. He had worked too hard to stop now. When he returned after 3 months, he looked different. His clothes were new, his hair cut in a stylish way, but his eyes were the same. He came to see me first. We walked to the port. He told me stories of the places he saw and the people he met. I listened, and for the first time I felt only pride. I understood then that his journey was not leaving me behind. It was carrying a part of our town with him. That night, as I closed the shop with my mother, I thought about my own life. Maybe I could also do something new. Maybe his courage could be mine too. I went to bed with the sound of the sea in my ears and a small plan in my heart. The year after Matteo returned from abroad was full of change. He worked often in the city. Sometimes he was gone for weeks. Each time he came back, he brought something small for me. A scarf, a book, a box of sweet biscuits. I knew he remembered me, even when far away. That made me happy. One afternoon, Sophia came to my stall at the bus stop. She said Matteo was going to be in a big fashion show in the city. It was for an important brand. She told me I should come. At first I said no. I thought I did not belong in such a place. But she insisted, so I agreed. The night of the show, I wore my cleanest dress. The hall was huge, with highlights and music that filled the air. People wore shiny clothes and spoke in soft voices. I stood in the back, my hands tight around my bag. Then the lights on the stage grew bright, and Matteo walked out. He was wearing a black suit that seemed to shine under the lights. His steps were slow and strong. The crowd clapped loudly. I felt my eyes fill with tears. He looked proud, but I knew he still carried the boy from our port inside him. After the show, I waited outside. When he came through the door, I called his name. He turned, and his face lit up. He hugged me, still warm from the lights and the crowd. "You came," he said. I told him I would always come if I could. He smiled in a way I had not seen for a long time. That same week, his photo appeared on a large poster in the city center. It was strange to see his face so high above the street. People stopped to look at it. I felt proud, but I also felt the distance between his world and mine. One evening, as the sun set over the port, Matteo came to my stall. He told me he had been invited to another show, this time in a different continent. I could see the excitement in his eyes, but also something else, worry. He said he was afraid of forgetting the life he had before. I told him that would never happen. The past was in his heart, no matter where he went. Months passed. He traveled more than ever. I kept working with my mother, but I started writing in the notebook he had given me. I wrote about the waves, the smell of fish, the old steps where we first met. I wrote about the children playing near the water and how the town looked in the rain. When I sent the notebook pages to him, he said it helped him feel close to home. Then one day, a surprise came. Matteo returned early from a trip. He came to my door and asked if I could help him with something. He wanted to do a small event in the town for the children. He said he wanted to give them hope, to show them that dreams can grow anywhere. We worked together for weeks. We cleaned an empty room near the market. We painted the walls white. Matteo brought chairs, tables, and art supplies from the city. I made food for the first day. When the doors opened, many children came. They laughed, painted pictures, and told stories. Matteo sat on the floor with them, showing them how to draw faces. I stood by the door and watched. It felt like the whole town was brighter that day. The children loved him. They called him Matteo from the Ka, posters. But he told them he was still the same boy who once sold flowers here. I saw the way their eyes lit up. They believed him. After the event, we sat outside. The air smelled of salt, and the waves were calm. Mateo thanked me for helping. I told him I was glad. For the first time in many years, I felt like I was part of something bigger too. In the months that followed, Mateo kept coming back between jobs. The room near the market became a small place for art and learning. We called it Bright Steps. Children came after school to draw, read, and sometimes just talk. I began to spend more time there than at the bus stop. My mother said she could manage the stall without me. I knew she was proud. One afternoon, a girl drew a picture of me and Mateo standing by the sea. Above us, she painted big stars. She said, "You both are my stars." I could not speak for a moment. I realized that even though Mateo's world had grown so large, my world was changing too. One evening, Mateo asked me what I wanted for my own future. No one had asked me that in a long time. I said I wanted to learn more, maybe take classes in the city. He told me he would help me if I wanted. I thought about it for many nights. Finally, I decided to try. With his support, I joined a short course in the city to learn about community work. It was only 1 day a week, but it opened my mind. I met other people who worked with children in small towns. They shared ideas with me, and I brought them back to Bright Steps. Slowly, I began to see myself not just as the friend who watched Mateo's journey, but as someone with my own path. A year later, Mateo invited me to see him in his biggest show yet. This time, I felt ready to be there. I wore a dress I had saved for months to buy. When he stepped onto the stage, the lights reflected in his eyes. I clapped with the rest of the crowd, but I also remembered the boy in the old shirt, selling flowers in the hot sun. After the show, we walked through the city streets. Mateo told me that no matter how far he went, he always thought of the port, of Camila, of me, and of the days we dreamed by the water. I told him I thought of those days too, and I was glad we had both found ways to grow without losing them. When we returned to the town, the children at Bright Steps ran to meet us. They showed Mateo the drawings they had made. Some drew the sea, some drew the market, and some even drew the old movie posters that once caught his eye. Mateo laughed and said he saw himself in their dreams. That night, as the wind came from the sea and the stars shone over the town, I thought about our journey. Mateo had walked into a bigger world, but he had not left us behind. I had found a place where I could help others and also grow. The road ahead was still long for both of us, but I was not afraid. I looked at Mateo, and he smiled at me. In that moment, I knew the truth. This was not just his story, it was ours. Thank you for listening.